The Vera Thomas Show. The Vera Thomas Show. The Vera Thomas Show. The Vera Thomas Show. Let's talk about it. 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 On the field.
Hello, hello, hello. As usual, I am so excited. This is the first time that I actually have an actor on my show, and I am just elated to have Terry Quintera here with me today. How are you?
I'm all right. Hi, I'm doing good. How about yourself?
I'm good. I'm just so honored that you're here with me today. And what I'm going to do is take a few minutes and read your bio. Now, if I read the whole thing, it would take the whole show. So I'm not going to read all of it because I want you to share much of it yourself.
Ye-
So let
yes,
me pull
ma'am.
it up and share about actor Terry J. Quintero Moore got his 5 to 10 minutes of fame when he auditioned at the Sugar House Casino in Philadelphia for a role in The Young and the Restless casting call. To much of his surprise, after his audition, he must have done well enough to, in reenacting a small monologue, that he was approached by Philadelphia's CBS local station and was who was watching him perform. Miss Alexandria Hoff, a reporter from CBS Eyewitness News Channel 3, she asked Mr. Terry J. Quintero Moore to play a small role with her. And so Terry and Alexandria created their own monologue, and they were on live TV. No time to practice. Mr. Quintero Moore showed the world that he is an extraordinary actor who acts immediately on the spot by doing improv. With Terry humble, charismatic personality, he is definitely on his way to becoming a trailblazer who is acting skills is immediately recognized for his talent as an upcoming actor. Now, he is not only an actor, but he is also a model. And his debonair looks and humble ways can stop traffic from any nationality, women who have shared this to him personally, like fans, friends, and loved ones, Terry, he would say. And then he's going to tell us how honored he is to be recognized. But not only is he an actor and a model, but he was crowned the Philly champ celebrity. What you? I'll let you tell that too. So, without further ado, I am just so excited to have Terry Quintero Moore here with me today. And so I am going to give you the floor and let you just kind of share your journey from growing up to now. And how did you get into acting? And just tell us about you.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me on this show. First and foremost, um, how I got into acting, and I don't want to say I got in it on accident, but it kind of seems that way. And what I mean by that is I grew up doing it. I was doing it in the church. My grandma used to put me in these plays. I used to hate the plays. If it wasn't church plays, it was a school play. And I always say to myself, maybe her and God had a vision, about me doing this. And how I got into it, actually started planting my feet down into it was I would have friends and family, even strangers would say, you're okay looking guy. You should try this. You should try that, and whoop de whoop. So I was like, you know what? Maybe I should take a stab at it. And I started out doing a little extra work, just just to get my feet wet, and kind of built my just to build my confidence level up. Started doing local theater plays, and then as you said, I was doing the small independent films, and then once that when I did that audition for the Sugar House Casino for the Young and the Restless, things just kind of skyrocketed, and then that bled into me getting into the boxing and the martial arts, and one thing kind of everything kind of came fast all at once. And I
Okay.
and being that I was so hungry for this, and my gift, and as they say, God give you a gift. If you don't use it, He'll take it. So I just, what, and I was actually trying to get rid of this gift, to believe it or not, to be honest with you, but it just kept coming back in my lap. So I was like, all right, you know what, this is what I'm destined to do. Why not do it? So
My.
that's what landed me here. That's what landed me in the movie, award-winning movie, multi-award-winning movie, Snow Black. And that's just not just that. Just the movies, just meeting great people in this journey. So
My, my. And it's funny because scripture also says your gifts will make room for you. And so it's very clear that God gave you this gift as a child.
yeah,
And I don't know, have you taken any acting classes or anything like that? Or
I mean, I took one it was like little small. I mean, I took it for maybe about a month, but it wasn't nothing that it didn't feed me. Basically, everything that like one of the guys that were there was one of the acting coaches. He was like, "Bro, I don't really know." He said, "I'm not saying I'm," and this is let me say this disclaimer. I'm not saying don't go to acting classes. I'm saying go because it does sharpen your skills. I don't care who you are, but me, it was something that it was just like in me.
natural? Yeah.
Yeah, I could remember the lines just like that. I could bring it to life. And so the month that I went there, you had people. I was scared because you had people that were remembering whole sheets of dialogue, uh, but they didn't bring no feeling to it. So I'm in there, and it's like, yo, just do you. So I'm reading this script, and I'm remembering some of it. I improv a little bit, but long as I stayed on the course of and not deviate. And usually, and for those who don't know what that means is sometimes the improv means that you might make up something that's not there, and but it doesn't just detach itself from what's going on. So and so that what that means is I might change a word or something like that nature.
Hmm.
So I brought the feeling, and I'm like, one of the coaches was like, man, you really don't need to necessarily be here. You if you want to sharpen up your skills, that's fine. But they was like, brother, like, you're remembering things in 15, 20 minutes. They take some of these guys 2 or 3 months to remember. And then not only that, you're bringing it. And that's where a lot of people got caught up with. It was like, oh, as long as I remember the lines, I'm good. I'm like, no, you have to bring some personality to it.
Emote.
Yeah. So, and that's the thing with people when a lot of people think it's just remembering. Yeah, remembering is the key factor of it. But what are you bringing? And bringing it because I'm bringing you on my project to make this character to come to life, and
Yes,
you have to tap into that energy. And a lot of people, this is where they fall victim at.
absolutely. And that again goes to show that this is a God given talent.
Yeah.
You did not have to really do anything in order to do what is necessary to make the character come to life. And so we all have various talents and different gifts. And when you recognize your gifts and your talents, isn't that a wonderful thing? So let me ask you, when you recognize that this is really what God wants me to do, can you tell me about that experience and when it happened?
Let's see. I'll tell you what, and it's not. I ain't gonna be too long with it, but when I first started, like I said, I was on the extra work just to see, just to get my feet wet. And when I started realizing the professional actors, like the A-listers and all that, they messed up too. Some of them, not to take the secret, but some of them will have the script right there because sometimes you're trying to remember everything or you're overthinking things. It's best to sometimes to have your script right there. But as the bar started rolling a little bit, I became, like I said, local famous. Only a few people knew me because they would come out to my plays. Now, this is where I got frustrated at with God. I said, well, I'm thinking that in my mind, I'm supposed to be Denzel overnight. And and it didn't happen. So I was like, you know what? Fine, forget it. I don't want to do it no more. So then I had people, important people in my life, say, yo, why don't you pick the ball back up again? Don't take your ball, go home. You know what I mean? Some people do get famous overnight. Some people you just got to go through that. You got to take the scenic route. Fine. So even people in the business would say, that was like upcoming actors and models and producers and all that was like, come on, I have a play. Why don't you come down and try the play? So I was like, okay, cool. I went down. I tried this play. This was a Christian play called The Soldier's Song, and I auditioned for the main guy, and one of the ladies, well, the head casting director, she says, "I like how you brought it, but it's a no for me." And I said, "All right, fine, whatever." I went to another audition. It was a no for them. I was like, it's like I like how you brought it, but the guy brought it a little bit better. Fine, okay. So I said, listen, this is my actually first time actually speaking. Doing a speaking role. So I'm out here looking for just other auditions just to become an extra. And one day, maybe about a month or two later, my phone rang. Those same people that told me no, yo, can you come through? I need you for this. I need you to be the supporting lead role. I need you to be the lead role. And I'm like, huh? It was like, yeah, there was like the other guy couldn't do it, whatever. It was whatever reasons why they couldn't do it. So I came down. Um, didn't even have to audition this time. They just gave me the script. I read it. They was like, "Would you play this guy?" I read the script because I always read the script in the characteristics of the character before I just say yeah. And I'm like, "All right, yeah." You never know who's. This is what I say. You never know who's watching you out there in the crowd, in the audience. One thing led to another. So this person's like, "Well, I got this guy. I saw him at this play, and then he did my play." Then it just kind of got word. It just became like just a chain reaction of things. Just this guy here, yo, listen, I got a guy. My phone was just jumping off the hook, just boom. So and that's when I realized I was like, okay, this is for me. So
Wow.
yeah, that's when the moment it hit me. I was kind of got almost a scary, eerie feeling because it happened so fast. Because it happened fast the way I wanted it in the beginning, but it didn't happen that fast in the beginning. But now when I came back at it, it just, you know what I mean? It just wasn't
Yes,
my season. It wasn't my season. So
yes. A couple of things that you just said. One about your season.
mhm.
And the other thing, when you said, be careful how you well, even scripture says, be careful how you entertain strangers because they could be angels unaware. And in your case, you just said you have to be careful how you treat people or how you come across because you never know
You never
who
know.
might be watching you.
Yeah, yeah,
And as a result of you coming like you did, look at all the opportunities that came your way as a result of that.
exactly. And that's also too. I always want to tell people, don't get discouraged because somebody tell you no. Somebody may tell you no simply because it may not be your skill set. It may be just you didn't fit their physical attribute that they had in their mind. Or they may say, you know what? I don't want you for this particular project, but I got something else in mind. They're not going to tell you right then and there all the time about why they told you no. Your
Ex-
job is to take that no on the chin as a blow, get up, shake it off, and go to the next audition.
Yes. Now we've got a couple of people watching. Now their names are not coming up. What you need to do is allow. I don't know how to get you to put your. Well, just type in your name. That's what you can do. All right. So one person is saying powerful. Yes. Then hello everyone. And Geneva Patrick, she's saying, good evening. This is so good. Well, thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. And then Dr. Tina Ramsey, she's on. Thank you for watching. This is, and the thing is, a couple of things that you said again about timing. A lot of you talked about the rejection that you got at the beginning, but even in the rejection, they came back to you.
Yeah.
They came back to you because, so I want people to understand, just because someone says no does not mean it's a complete no.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, and that's the thing. I mean, if you listen to the backstories of people that are deep into the Hollywood, they've been told no over several hundred times. Some of
Hmm.
them, and we don't get those a lot of those backstories on it, but it's the truth. You're not gonna always land everything. Anybody tell you they land everything they touch, either lucky or they lying. But it builds character. That right there, the no builds character as well. Because even so, then
Absolutely.
you have to go back and reevaluate, what did I do wrong. You know what I mean? It's almost like a boxer or an athlete of some sort, or a football player or a basketball player. If you lost the game or you lost the fight, you got to go back and watch those tapes and say, why did I lose that? And next time when I come back, how can I beat it? Now I got to find the weak points in this person or this team. So when I come back, I can come back and probably capitalize on that. What made them get that W over me? You know what I mean? So that's how I look at it. I go back, well, what did I do wrong? And I'm not to beat yourself up too. And I tell people, don't beat yourself up. Just go back and say, why did I get the no? And sometimes, like I said, they'll tell you right there. Sometimes they tell you.
And
But now acting has been kind of, I can say easy, but it's been kind of far as the explaining of the roles they wanted. So granted, if they was looking for a guy that's 6'7" and you coming in 5'7", you mean they might let you audition and they might even love your work, but it's like, this role is particularly for this particular person. So sometimes you may do well, but the physical attribute of what they're looking for may not be what you may not fit that mold.
absolutely.
So
And then someone said, that's a fact. No can just simply mean not right now.
yeah,
Not
yeah.
right now.
It's not indefinite. It's only indefinite if you allow it.
Yes, and I think that was
Yeah.
Dr. Tina Ramsey that said that. And you're absolutely correct. So we want to encourage people that may have dreams and things that they want to do with their lives. So what would you say to a person that is kind of sitting on the fence with their goals and their dreams and their desires and their abilities?
I'll tell them, stay focused. Don't let nobody tell you. First of all, especially those that really don't have the keys to the door of your destiny. You have a lot of people that'll tell you no, be simply because they see it in you, but they don't see it in themselves. So they're gonna tell you no, and then maybe you may not pursue whatever it is that you need to pursue. So I just tell people, just stay focused. I mean, and don't worry about it. If you have something in your dream, and that's your dream, that's your heart, that's your passion, do it. That's all I have to say. Just do it. Sometimes even your family would tell you no. Oh, you can't do that. And I think to a lot of people, that's your family and friends are always going to be your worst critics because they feel like they can give you a hard time because they know you. But outside of that, like I said, just stay focused. And I don't care who it is, even if it's your own mom and they say you can't do it. If it's in your heart to do it, and God gave that to you, do it.
Yes, do not be discouraged. Do
Nah,
not be dismayed. And do not allow other people to determine what it is that you're supposed to do for your life. If it
that's
hits you in your heart and in your spirit, go with it.
exactly. Especially if they don't have the key to the door of that you need to get through. Oh, wait a
Yeah.
minute. You know what I mean? No, you don't have the key to the door I need to get through. Nah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Someone said, and I think it might be Dr. Ramsey. Yes, it is Dr. Ramsey. She says, this is a great interview. Your
I
story
think
is amazing. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening. Yeah.
And okay, and then we have confirmation. Miss Vera, you told me that when I met you last Tuesday morning. Hi, Geneva. Yes, never give up. Never give up.
No.
Don't allow anyone to discourage you. And thank you for listening, Geneva. I
I mean,
appreciate it.
even with now, like I just told you, with me, with my kids, I'm taking my oldest daughter's going to Morgan State. I'm running around tired. I might get 2 hours of sleep because of everything now. Like you might see it on my face, I'm tired, but I still got to keep pushing.
Yes.
Uh, I may be tired, but I got to be a father. Then I got to go over here and be the actor. Then you got to go to the gym and make sure you're in shape. So it's a lot of things that Some days I was like, man, I could go sleep for 2 weeks straight and I wake up. I feel like that because that's how tired I am. But then when you realize, no, you got to do what you got to do first. Do the task at hand, and once you do what you got to do first, then you get the rest, rejuvenate. But
Yeah.
right now, while you're on this journey, there's no straying off this path right now at this moment.
Well,
So you got to do what you got to do.
well, first of all, you don't look tired. Second of all, second of all, knowing that you're tired and yet you took the time to come on my show, I am honored. Now,
I'm
let's
honored to be on the show. So thank you
well,
for having me.
thank you, thank you. So let's talk about your children. Now, you
Okay.
told me you have four children, right?
Yes,
Let's
ma'am.
talk about, and your daughter is going to an HBCU. Yes,
Yep. She's
I
going to
wish
be
I had gone one.
a neurosurgeon. That's
Oh
her.
my
Yeah.
goodness!
Yeah.
Oh my goodness! That's awesome.
So could you she's that's have been her passion, plastic surgeon, neurosurgeon, even fashion. So I we say, well, listen, whatever you want to do, I got you. It's a long journey, and we knocked half of that off, that journey off, but we still got a couple, a little bit more ground to cover. But I'm here either way. You know what I mean? So
Yes,
you
you
know,
made a point. You made a point. It's whatever it is that she wants to do. You are
yeah,
going to encourage that. You're going to nurture that. You're going to support that. There are a lot of parents, because a child may not want to do what the parent wants them to do, that they are not supportive of what it is that child wants to do. So you have and are an example of what would be called an authoritative parent, the parent that is nurturing, encouraging, supportive, and allowing your children to make decisions about what it is they want to do. That is so important. Now, I
and
know
even if
we
I
don't.
don't agree with it, even if I don't agree with it, it's you. I may not agree with it, but I'm not gonna knock it down because it may be their calling. My
Yes,
calling, my calling, their calling. So
yes,
you know,
yes.
so
Okay, and we've got another listener. Hello, Lenora. It's been a long time. Hello, sis. How are you? I'm great. How are you? Thank you for being on here today. And so we talked about your oldest daughter, and you have three more. You want to tell us a little bit about your other children?
yeah, I mean, one's into sports, one's into video games. My youngest daughter, she's 5. She's getting ready to go to kindergarten. Like you said, like I told you earlier, I try to cater to each of them according to the personalities, and I tell people this, and I'm still learning things as a father and as an individual. You cannot give each child the same medicine, if that makes sense. This child's illness or this whatever this child is, whatever they need to be nurtured is going to be different from the other one.
Yes.
One likes sports, okay. One is into she's very into science, and the other one's into video games. So it's kind of like, you know what, I see your personality. I gotta kind of guide it and make sure you stay on this track here. But like I said, and the boys, I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you they're angels, but they get on my nerves. But at the same time, it's at the same time I love them dearly though. It's just like, oh my God, But that's the thing. You just have to just, as a parent, I say this too. You have to step outside your own ego. You're gonna make mistakes, but you gotta step outside your own ego. You like, because some things they do, I'm like, but then you know what? let me address this or approach this in a different way. So
Yes.
it's all about putting down your ego as a parent.
I love that. Putting
So
down your ego as a parent. I
mm,
love that.
so,
And working with your kids, disciplining your kids, engaging your kids based on them as individuals. And
right.
we had talked about love languages of kids. And so I want to encourage parents out there, to let do the love languages for your children because it will help you better understand the best way to approach them based on their love language. And so it's an awesome tool for parents to use. Now, okay, so you got two boys and two girls.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Two boys, two girls, and the youngest one, the baby, she's the boss. We call her the boss. Like she's daddy's girl. Like she's up under me 24/7. Like I go to the bathroom. Like I left her in the bed sleep, and as soon as I go to the bathroom, she's right there. I'm like, I thought you were asleep. Like I go out the door, Daddy, where you going? I'm going to the store. I said, yes, yeah, she's my shot. Yeah, yeah. All
That's
right,
beautiful.
yeah, Daddy,
That,
Daddy. She look out for Daddy. Daddy hungry, and then
oh, that's
so yeah,
beautiful. That's
so
beautiful. And I'm going to pause for a minute because I do have a couple of sponsors
okay.
that I need to acknowledge. So we will be right back.
If you are a business owner or entrepreneur and you're looking for a way to share your mission, your purpose, your products and services literally with the world faster, safer, and easier, making your brand accessible to millions from the comfort of your home, well, I want to encourage you to join our Learn How to Start a Podcast and Monetize It class. Why? Is because this was designed for entrepreneurs like yourself as a platform to provide you with the knowledge in order to not only start a podcast, but successfully launch it. And then the third key, which is helping you to understand how you can monetize your podcast as you are impacting the world with good. You can also build multiple streams of income from this one podcast and share your story, mission, and purpose literally with the world. So on today, I want you to go ahead and click CoachTinaRamsey.com to join our podcast class today.
Yes, CoachTinaRamsey.com. If you're interested in having a podcast and you don't know how to start, contact CoachTinaRamsey.com. And now a word from one of our other sponsors.
Today with Ms. Mac Marketing 848-236-5026.
Ms.
What you
Mac
get, man?
Marketing.
Whatever.
And let me tell you that my guest is here as a result of Ms. Mac Marketing. So I am
Yeah.
just honored and pleased. You're going to
Oh,
say
well,
something?
yes, yes, ma'am. Well, I was going to say, first of all, let me take my hat off dearly to Miss Yolanda Mack. Miss Yolanda Mack is like my second mother. She gave me the do's and don'ts about this business. She gave me visions. Um, she is great. I mean, she gets me a line too a couple of times. When we had a little bit of a rough start. That was one of those complexes I had because I thought I was supposed to be famous overnight. And she's like, "Oh no, it don't really work that way." And it can, but you trust me. If you follow my formula, you would be where you need to be at when you need to be there.
And you
And
found that to be true.
yeah, I had to kind of let Missy Mac and God take the wheel because me, I was taking the wheel and kept driving myself into the wall. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna let you guys drive. And when I started doing that, I was like, okay, now these doors and certain things opened up for me. So
That is awesome. So you hear that if you want visibility and you want opportunity, you need to see Ms. Mac Marketing.
good
Yes,
people, good people.
she is. She really is. Now, let me ask you because the boxing thing, let's talk about this boxing thing. How did you get involved in that?
All right, well, I always did like wrestling and martial arts and boxing off and on when I was younger. So when I came off the set of doing Snow Black, I just landed in Pennsylvania. One of the other guys that I know that's into the martial arts, and he was boxing himself. He said, "Hey, bro, would you mind, trying to do this? We're trying to start this organization up in Philly, because for those who don't know, Philly is like the mecca of boxing. Like that's where most of your boxers come from. Um, just pull up the history of that. Anyway, so he was like, we was just trying to get this thing started off. It was called Philly Fame Boxing. And really, that was anybody could come out, but we would just get given it a catchy name. You could have been famous or something upcoming, or you could have been the average Joe person. Whatever it was, you that came through. So I was like, yeah, sure. You know what? Fine. I'll do it. Why not? It's something extra added to my belt. So he got my one of my friends I consider a little brother. He got connections with the people in the organization. I say, fine, I do it, and I became the face. When I became the face, I had a couple of fights, became undefeated, became champion that fast. It just like I said, it just kind of happened almost overnight, so to speak. So that's why it's great to know people in the line type of work that you're doing, because you never know who's going to bless you. So it went on for about a year, and due to unfortunate events, the organization has to discontinue. But I left undefeated, left a champion, and I left being the face of the organization.
Wow, that's
So
amazing. That's amazing. And you're also a model. How did you get into modeling?
I started doing that first. I had a friend that she was doing fashion, and she said, "Well, you should try it." I always had people always telling me I should be doing comedy. I tell people that still today they still tell me, "Yo, why don't you be a comedian?" And I'm like, I don't want to overstep my boundaries too much. I'm funny far as we're around in the settings, but being a comedian, it takes more than just go up there and telling some jokes. So I would never disrespect the comedian unless I had that skill set, that know how to go up there and tell jokes. But anyway, people say, well, maybe you should model. I mean, you have like a kind of unique look. You can pass as this or you could pass as that. So I was like, all right, I started doing that. I started doing some runway shows. I did a couple of fitness projects. And then I said, you know what? I want to try acting. So this is when I started doing the plays. And I tell people this, if you do plays, and there's a difference between theater acting and film acting. And a lot of
Mhm.
people's like that. That's to me, that is one of the basics you should know. And the reason why I say that, because theater acting, for one, if you can perform live in front of thousands of people, your fear of anything, you can conquer all of it,
Yes.
because it's right there. It's live. If you can't mess up. If you do, you can't say, "Oops." You gotta go. You gotta go with the flow. You know. With the film, it's kind of like, yeah, we got here for 16 hours, and if you mess up, it'd rather for you not. But if you mess up, okay, fine.
You can replay.
We can go back in the lab, we chop it up, whatever we do, or we're gonna redo this. So it's a little bit more relaxing. But I love each of them for each of their different reasons. But like I said, man, theater that's to me, that's where I got most of my chops from.
And
I,
there is nothing like being in front of a live audience. Once
Yes.
you overcome the fear, because the number one fear is standing in front of a group of people. The number seventh fear is dying. People
Yeah.
would rather die than stand in front of a group of people.
Some people
So
feel like they're dying while they're on for stage.
that's true. That's true. So if you once you overcome that and you get involved in, because I've done a little bit of acting stuff, but
Hmm.
nothing on your scale, not even close.
Hey,
But
listen, it's all acting, baby.
but the first time I did it, it was amazing because I never even saw myself that way. But back to you because I'm not the star. You
Well,
are. And
yeah,
but being able to stand in front of a group, emote, and show those feelings, and to
yeah.
get that kind of feedback that you get back from them, it
It's
is such
instant
a
feedback.
charge.
Yes, it does charge your battery a bit different. It's instant feedback because if you do a movie, you gotta wait till a year or whenever it comes out to get the feedback. Um, that instant gratification or whatever you're looking for, it's right there in the moment. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like, whether you messed up or not. This is how actually I know I was doing good when I played. I always get these roles where I play a womanizer or a Latino mob boss or a crazy boyfriend. But um, this role that I had to play, I played a boyfriend that had split personalities. To me, that was one of the hardest characters I had to tap into because I had to actually project
Hmm.
two different personalities. And
Hmm.
how I got into that character was I sat back and I watched the Dark Knight. So when the casting people was like, well, I said, what do you want? Do you want me to be like Ike Turner or Dark Knight? They was like, be a little bit of both. I said, I gotta be the Joker from the Dark Knight, and I gotta be Ike Turner. I'm trying to put that in it. So it is a, yeah. It's like, don't be over the top. Don't be too, don't be too weak with it, but just be in between. So how do I be in between Ike and the Joker? So I figured it out, and I played that. We had 3 nights and did like 4 shows, 3 nights. Um, those who caught the AM show and the afternoon show and the late night show, like it was a great performance. But this is how I know I did so well. When I got off stage to greet the fans and whatnot, each and every time it was like, I like you, but I don't like that character. There was a little bit. one one guy said, he said, and he, because when it was a pastor, his daughter was in the play. Actually, his daughter was my girlfriend in the play. He said, "Man, you did that so well. You made me want to go out to my car and get my gun." So, so, and what's crazy though, I remember watching stories and Lifetime movies with my grandma, God rest her soul, and like younger Blair Underwood, you see them on the movies, and they would act so well being the bad guy. My grandma would be like, I don't like him. I said, Grandma, it's just acting. He's got to act. She said, I don't like it now. And then when I came to this where I'm at, I realize now why she's saying it. She said, because it does seem so surreal.
Yeah.
So,
When you're good at what you do, yeah,
yeah.
you get that kind of
I,
response back.
and I've gotten that on a couple of theater or projects I've been on. And, when I had to play the bad guy, but I'm like, I like you, but I don't like it. But yeah, so, you know,
And let me ask you, how does it make you feel when you are portraying these unsavory people? And well, that's the question.
okay. Well, I mean, well, I always say this for me personally. I watch out what roles I take. Believe it or not, because I tell people you're tapping into energy. Now, reason why some of these roles that I get come natural because either A, I've done that or once been around it. I can easily tap to what once was. Um, I always say this: if you get a role where that you can't shake the energy off, so to speak, that becomes dangerous. Like it's almost like prime example when you hear people in Hollywood say, "Where where they can't break the character. Like they'll come home and bring the character home. Sometimes it's hard to break because especially if you're a method actor, because you're so invested in this character, it might take you some time to shake that character off. But depending on who you are, like if you know it's just acting, sometimes I have done it. I have still been in character. But wait a minute, why am I still doing this? So, but nothing crazy over the top. But I'm like, why am I still doing this? But sometimes you just got to take a break. Like, wait a minute, I'm not on set no more. You kind of like relieve yourself from that character. But it also goes into when someone gives me a role, I'd be like, do you want me to be the character or own the character? So owning the character means that you embellish everything about that character. Owning it is, yeah, you made it believable just enough to get the ball over the fence and for people to believe and have a good show or a good film. But being invested in that character so much where you and that character, I can't even tell if is that you in real life or you know what I mean. So yeah, so I tell people just be careful what role you take sometimes
Now let's talk
because
about.
it's a strain on you. Like when I did that dual split personality, it can be a strain on you because now you're operating as yourself, but I'm also operating as two other entities, two other characters. So yeah, just be careful.
So I had a senior moment. I admit it. Oh man, there was something I wanted to ask you oh, yes. Okay, thank you, Lord. All right. Can you explain to the audience the different, because you talked about method acting and then investing and not being so invested. Can you talk about the various different types of acting to kind of give our audience a little bit of education?
Well, basically, what I mean by that being invested in your character is like I said. So let's say you play I don't know. Let's say you had to play a serial killer that was based on a true story. All right, see, I'm gonna try to describe it the best way I can for those that you understand. You would have to go do your homework on that serial killer, and then you have to do his every nuances, every little thing about that serial killer. You have to invest everything about that person's that you learn about that person. So, like when prime example, like when Denzel did American Gangster, he had to hang around Frank Lucas. Jamie Foxx had to hang around Ray Charles. So that's why he played Ray Charles so well because
Yeah.
I'm around Ray Charles and every little nuances, even when he was scratching and doing like this, it's it's now I'm taking this energy that he's allowed me to take from him, and now I gotta project it from the world.
And that's called method. Is that what is method?
Yeah, it's basically this is what that is. Your method acting is really what that is. I mean, because you have people that can act, and sometimes your acting will fit just your personality. So like you might see someone that says, why is this person always in fighting movies or he's not or he's always in love movies or she's in love movies. Nine times out of ten, believe it or not, that fits personality. It says art mimics life. So it's kind of that some of that might be that person or had been that person. So that's why it might come so natural to certain people.
And are
So
there some things that come natural to you as a result of your own experiences as well? And would you mind sharing that?
yeah, I mean, yes. Like I said, being a bad guy. Well, I can say I kind of like being the bad guy sometimes because I always get looked at as not being the bad guy. I was like, you sure you're the bad guy? Yes, I'm the bad guy. But I fit that because when you were young out there being wild, you've been around people that you can say, oh, I remember this guy acting like this when I was growing up. So this character, I can easily tap into that character. So you was around it, so it's easier to go back in your files and remember. Oh, you know, if you was around, as a prime example. So if you was around a pimp and they asked you to be a pimp, it'll come to you naturally because you was around it. So, or they ask you, well, were you a drug dealer or were you a fighter? You could play a fighter. Hey, I'm a fighter. I've done that. I fought. You know what I mean? So that'll come naturally. So it, like I said, all that is it's all about just training your skill set and just be able to zone in on what you have. Now, some people that may not have that, it comes naturally. It might take them a little bit of time to zone in on that character. But I always think like those. You always see those movies where the guys play those certain characters, like I was talking about the thug role or the bad guy role, is because they lived it. It's some of that's not acting. It's acting in the sense of it's on the film or whatever, but they lived it. So a part of that, that's their real life resume. That's their life. So, like I said, I was out here doing dumb things too. So some of that was my life. So I know I can convert back to, as far as when they ask me, play that role. Okay, fine.
Okay. So let me ask you now. Well, before I do have another commercial, and then
Hmm.
I'll be right back. Okay.
All right.
All right. That was the wrong
In
one.
media service, in media service business,
Oh, why isn't it
in
showing?
media service, in
Okay.
media service.
All right. I'm having some technical difficulties. I'm gonna leave it alone. So, also your commitment to the community and how, I mean, and your sense of responsibility. So, would you mind sharing a little bit about that?
Well, first of all, I feel like we all have a sense of responsibility and accountability. It's just rather you willing to put that on your shoulder. My commitment is I always want the next those behind me and the generation behind me do better than what we did it before them. No one's going to get 100% right. Eventually, we will. We will somewhere down the line. But I just feel like the commitment is just have them see a different path, and have them tap into whatever it is they need to tap into to get on a positive level, to get farther, and then that way, because it's supposed to be regurgitated. That way, they can leave behind something positive and good for the generation behind them. So it's all about making the generations behind you, whether they 20 years or 100 years or 1,000 years behind you, follow your blueprint and just leave behind a positive note. You know what I mean? So that's why my commitment. I said I have that commitment. I mean, even when I had the Big Brother program, me and my friend was doing the Big Brother program. A lot of them were, young boys that was in the system, and we just teaching them how to even fill out a job application, be something productive in the society, even something simple as tying a tie. A lot of them didn't know how to do that. A lot of them didn't know how to conduct themselves in interviews. And granted, a lot of them were like anywhere between 14 and 16, but still there was something that they could carry into their
Yes.
adulthood. So teaching them, believe it or not, some of them didn't even know how to properly put on a belt or tie shoes. And you're like, wait a minute, you know, but that's because they had nobody in their life to show them otherwise.
Yes.
So a lot of these kids need chances. Just particularly where my focus was on youth, especially young guys, because a lot of them need chances. I mean, and we're in a time now where we didn't get they're not giving a whole bunch of chances like they like when we was growing up. You got the chances. You may have got a chance at the chance. Now you're lucky if you get one more chance, a second chance. And now it's like once you mess up, it's that stains on you forever. So
Yes.
even with my sons, I try to tell them like, listen, you got to go that route. You don't have to go that route. But like I tell my daughter, you're 18 now. You're grown. I can't tell you to do nothing. My what I'm giving you now is an advice. So move accordingly, and just watch all your all around your sizes, because you know people are not giving those breaks no more.
Absolutely. And one of the things, and I just want your opinion of this.
Hmm.
Oh, but we've got another comment here. The question is, how do you get into acting without taking? You gotta have the gift. He's
I
got
mean,
the gift.
I mean, there are shortcuts. I mean, I always say to you. I mean, first of all, you have. I don't want to give away the secrets, but first of all, you have it right here on your device. You see these people making up YouTube videos, Facebook videos, IG. Really, that it's kind of like the music industry. Back in the day, it was like, yo, dog, yo, I listen to my mixtape on my mix CD. Now you post it up on Instagram, whatever you got going on Instagram Live or YouTube. YouTube is now your tool for everybody to see. And if you get a certain amount of views and subscribers and votes and whatever, for you know it, you'll be famous overnight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's
Yeah.
all about really your fan base at this particular point. I know back in the days, especially the generations before me, they say, man, dog, man, I had to come in and stand on this square here and say my name and say the role I'm acting for, and so that things are different. You know what I mean? Sometimes, like I know a lot of my friends, they were like, that's in it, or just now coming in it. They was like, well, I had an audition. I said, it's like, do you audition? I said, very rare. I said, but most time I just get stuff word off of mouth. They already know my resume. They know how I move. Um, they just want me on.
Awesome. One
But
of the
yeah, it is possible though. It is possible though. But like I said, if you got content and you want to get into it, I always tell people first, don't think it's easy though. But it's not easy because you got to bring something of substance to life. So my advice to you is uh, find a movie that you like, see if you can remember the scripts, try to mimic the character, go in the mirror, do the facial expressions, the little nuances, little things like that that's going to bring you, to the forefront out of everybody when you audition. Because at some point in time, you're going to have to audition. You really can't get around that too much. But
that's
like me personally, like my personal, one of my favorite guys is Denzel. I walk around and intimidate Denzel all the time. Yeah.
let
So
me see a little bit of it.
I do it for you. It's
Okay.
not perfect. He like
Okay.
sometimes like my sons do something crazy. I'm like, ha, 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 all right, my boy, all right, all right. Huh?
Oh wow.
So
Okay.
yeah,
Awesome.
uh,
Awesome.
but uh, but yeah. So he, I'll be quoting some of his movie things. So just find that target or someone that you want to be like, or and just kind of don't 100% mimic them, but take little bits and pieces here and there, and like Sidney Poitier, I like him, and then I like Will Smith, I like Martin Lawrence. So you take a little bit, then you make your own concoction.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I remember I have a great nephew, and as a little boy, he would literally memorize movies that, I mean, he would memorize the whole movie. It was like amazing. And he's a rather shy person. He's grown now and he's very reserved, but he would sit and memorize
the whole
the whole movie, everybody's character.
that's the thing. Oh, and you know what? You remind me of something. That's the thing too about acting too. Not just remembering your lines, you got to remember your counterpart lines. And I'm not saying you
Yeah.
got to remember all his lines, but remembering that tail end of the line is important because that's how you
Yeah.
know when they come in.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Now, one of the other things I want to ask you about is you mentioned about wanting the next generation to be better than your generation or my generation. And so one of the things like the music
Hmm.
that our young people are listening to,
Hmm.
can you give me your take on that? And
Well, I say this. I say this. I do believe music and some things have influence, but also too is how you were raised, and also it's based off the individual. So prime example, I grew up off the wild video games and looking at the crazy movies and listening to the crazy music. But I also had a structure in my life where people say, listen, the elders in the family, like, listen, that's them. Fine. You want to listen to the music? Fine. but you better not be doing what projected in front of you. It's like saying, well, they listen to Dr. Dre or the Ice Cube. Yeah, but they don't raise Dr. Dre and Ice Cube is not raising your kids. However, where we fell short at, well, the generation that's coming behind us, where they fell short at was, it's like now giving your child the iPhone or the PlayStation, and the video games is not raising the child. So I think that's where a lot of the disconnect come from, and where a lot of the children are not understanding until it's too late.
Right.
So
And
so that's where I think the disconnect come from. So I don't want to necessarily say the music. Granted, some of it I like, some of it I don't. Is but I just say it comes from the foundation has to be
in the home.
it has to be strong, because if the foundation is strong, you can go. It's just like when people say, well, why did that guy kill himself? He was worth millions. He made millions. We don't know what he was dealing with. His foundation, his financial problems may have been over with, but his whatever he's internally dealing with may not be over with.
And when you talk about foundation, what has made your foundation so solid is the fact that you were raised with a spiritual experience. Do
Yeah,
you? I am just convinced that growing up with that kind of concrete base,
hmm
that is lacking today. There is no sense of spirituality within families today. And I believe that that's why we have all the problems that we're having, because that foundation, that spiritual foundation, is lacking.
it always comes. It's always start with foundation. I mean, even like I said, I'm not gonna sit here and say I was the squeakiest cleanest child, because I ran my mother's blood pressure through the roof. I've done things that I shouldn't have done. Been places where I shouldn't have been, but I learned from that. Like my mom would call me like, so and so back in jail. How old is he again? He 35, 40. Oh man, he ain't learned any lesson by then. Then I don't know what to tell him. And it usually be for the same thing. So I was like, well, whatever you're doing, obviously you're not good at it. I would stop. It's just stop. Stop. Just stop. Um,
Clearly.
so it's like I said, it's foundation. I even had uncles, right? They may not have been in the church, but even aunties, they may not have been in the church, but one thing they had was, you're not going to disrespect your mama, your grandmama, they'll pop you in the mouth. I had an uncle, nephew, pop, hit you in the mouth because you was disrespectful. So I came up under that. I'm not saying beating your kids, you should, but I'm just saying that I came up under that umbrella where, they didn't play with you. They're not gonna
Right.
talk to you 17 different times. So that's the foundation I came up under. You're not gonna be disrespectful. Oh, you grown? I'll show you what grown is. There's the door. So I've been down that road. So, and it's the same thing. I think we're losing grip. Well, we have lost grip to a certain degree with that, because now it's kind of like you can't. It's almost to the point where you can't correct the child. It seems that
Yeah.
way.
Well, but I mean, there's a way to do whatever it is that we do. And
Yeah.
hitting, even though we all grew up, with that going on, but there's got to be a better way, because that teaches a child that that's how you deal with conflict.
I put it like this to you. I said I really don't have to, beat my kids. I mean, they first of all, they know they listen. When dad says something, that it's golden. It ain't a whole lot of lip service with it, but I don't have them to the. I mean, they do dumb things, but I don't have it to the point where I gotta beat you. Like my daughters, even like the oldest one, if they do something, I just look at them and say something. They already in tears. I'm like, I didn't even yell at you, but
Right.
it's you're already in tears. But I'm just like, that's because you knew you messed up. I don't believe in spanking your child unless it's you. It has to be way, way out of pocket for you to go there. But a lot of times you notice putting them on punishment, taking something from them is just as effective.
Yes,
I
that's
know.
what I'm saying.
I mean, but you know,
Yes.
we pull from the scriptures. They say, "Spoil the rod, spare the rod, spoil the child." So I think
But
that's
do you
where
know? Okay, go ahead. I'm
I think
sorry.
that's where a lot of our people, our elders, because you got to realize what we learn is regurgitated from the elders before and that. So we just going off what was given to us, you know, coming up.
Right, right. But when we know better, we do better.
Not necessarily, because you can know all you want, but if you don't apply what you know, means nothing. So if
That's
you,
true.
so you gotta, a lot of people know a lot of things, but you just gotta apply what you
You
know.
got to apply. Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah,
And when you apply, then you do better.
yeah,
Uh,
exactly.
so,
Yep,
you know what? I can't believe we ran out of time. Lenore, she says, I agree. Felicia, she says she's agreed. And that's when we were talking about the spirituality being left out. You know what? Oh my God. Would you be willing to come back at another time?
yes, ma'am. You set up, schedule the date, the time, and because I know you was having technical difficulties, so that took some of the time. But hey, I'm willing to come back. We finish
Okay.
this up, whatever y'all want to do.
Okay. Okay. Awesome. Awesome. Well, we'll probably be looking at either sometime in September or October. Before we leave, though, you do
Sure.
have a project that you're working on right now.
Oh yes, I do. For those, it's called Diary of a Female Player. It's on YouTube. We're already in our second season of it. We did a few scenes of that, but go check it out. It's called Diaries of a Female Player. I play Keith. I'm the star player in there. I'm the womanizer in there as usual. But yeah, I believe y'all like it. You also take something from it as well.
Okay, and
So
that's what I think is important with movies. We need to be able to take something from it. We
yep,
need to know that there's a lesson in it. You,
yep,
I agree wholeheartedly. Lenora, she says, I remember all Big Mama gave us the eye, you
yeah,
know,
yeah,
just the eye, and we
yeah.
knew to
You
do
knew.
right.
You,
That's
you,
right.
if you didn't
That's
know, you will know.
that's the truth. Well, listen, Terry, it has been such a pleasure and an honor to
Thank
have
you.
you
Thank you.
on my show. And
Mhm.
I am looking forward to you coming back again. And I want to say to my listening audience, thank you for being here and participating. And Terry, I'm going to close it out. And please don't leave because I like to talk to you for a minute
Mhm.
before you get off. Okay.
Okay. And
Okay.
if you want to follow me, you can follow me on Facebook, Instagram. It's Terry J. Quintero Moore.
You
My
know
all my
what? I'm
all my
sorry. I should have put that. What is it again? Give it to me.
Terry. My name Terry J. Quintero Moore. It's on all my social medias, from Facebook to Instagram, Twitter as well.
Okay. So let me just put it in here so that people can go ahead and oh,
On TikTok, the same thing.
okay. So I'm just going to make a banner and run it so that people can see it. And it's all lowercase.
Yeah, it's all. Yeah, no matter how you type it, it jump out. My got a unique last name, but so many people in the world got
So
that.
Terry J. Quintero Moore.
Quintero Moore. Yep.
And that's on all
Platforms.
all Okay, well, before we go, let me put that up. Okay, there it is.
Yep.
Terry J. Quintero Moore on
Yep.
all social platforms. So follow him, and also subscribe to this show on
Yeah.
YouTube, please. All right.
That.
So
Yep.
thank you. And wait a minute, somebody else is saying something. Oh, that was something else. I'm sorry. Okay. All right. Well, anyway, Terry, thank you. And with that, we're going to say good night to our listening audience, and we
Stay
will
blessed.
see you next week. Stay
Mhm.
blessed.
The Vera Talent Show. The Vera Talent Let's talk about it. 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 Let's talk